Hello everybody, welcome to Atlantis Freediving channel. Today we will look at how to look after your equipment like a professional. Well, again, welcome everybody, and before I start with the video, I would like to first say a massive thank you to all the Atlantis freedivers who has been really supportive and helpful in this week's and future months. And thank you to all who were planning to come here. And obviously, with all the crisis going on, it is not possible at the moment and in the near future. So many of you who, instead of cancelling their bookings, have opted for rescheduling for a nearest date or whenever it is possible for you to come here. This is a massive help to us, and it just shows huge support from all of you guys, which really makes the Atlantis freediving feel like a family place. And we just really like to extend this thank you to you guys, because it really helps us. We really hope that this whole crisis will be managed soon, and it will get better. We'll soon get back to diving and get back to our regular lives. I know that everybody has a tough times, and most countries are now on a full lockdown. We are here on over the 1 week on full lockdown, so we cannot even go for swim, we cannot go for snorkel, we cannot go for walk outside. And I know it's the same for many of you out there as well. This video is going to be about taking care of your equipment, because I know that a lot of people won't be diving for next week or two or a month or several months. Everybody has a different location. If you have been diving recently, or even a little while ago, it is worth now to go and check your diving equipment. We do this quite regularly in our center, especially if we are changing seasons from winter, which is now. We will be changing to summer. Our suits will be changing also, so we will be going from 5mm to 3mm, and this is why we have to make sure that we store these suits properly. First thing I want to talk to you about is what you can do is take your mask and snorkel. The mask and snorkel, with a lot of diving, they tend to accumulate a lot of residue on them. And as you know yourself, especially when you're congested and so on, the mask and snorkel can trap a lot of bacteria. And this bacteria, together with the humidity, if the mask is not treated properly, can accumulate a lot of bad stuff going on in that mask and snorkel. It is really worth sometimes just very simply taking an old toothbrush and using a regular soap and a warm water. Take a soap, take your mask, and just brush with the soap all the areas, the lenses inside, outside, all the skirt, silicone parts, and really give it a nice scrub, and you will see that your old mask is going to look like new. Silicone won't be damaged. If some of you have Sphera mask from Aqualung, those masks, they have plastic lenses. You have to be careful so you don't scratch these plastic lenses. So most of people have a tempered glass lens, so there you can just really apply enough pressure to clean the lenses properly. With the soapy water, with the plenty of soap, you can use also antibacterial soap to remove any bacteria or any gunk that is basically built up there over a few months. I'll be certainly doing so with my mask, and you will see how your mask will look fresh and new. Good time to also check the attachment points on your sides of the mask. If you have the attachment directly to silicon part of the mask, you want to check visually to see if you don't have any cracks. If you have cracks from mask being constantly pulled against your face, maybe sometimes wearing the mask too tight, you can over time create little cracks in silicone, and once you go diving, these cracks become bigger, and at some point they can actually snap, and then your diving session is ruined because your mask doesn't hold in your face anymore. This happened to me about 2 years ago. As soon as I got in the water, all of a sudden just mask fell off my face. I wasn't sure what's going on. I checked. There was actually a little crack in the silicone part attachment, and it just got worse and worse. When you use your mask a lot, these things will happen, and it's good to check now to see if maybe that's also the case. With the snorkel, what you can do, if you have a baby bottle cleaner, not everybody has it, but it's basically a wire with a brush on it, long. You can use that to clean the inside of your snorkel, and the mouthpiece, the same thing with the brush and the soap. Clean it well. Again, check for cracks and so on. A lot of people don't realize how hard they bite into a snorkel, and you can have some of them really bitten clean off the insides of the snorkel. So it's good to take care of these two primary things at the beginning. Next thing, we will look at the wetsuit. I have my wetsuit right here. So first I want to tell you about storing the wetsuit when you are diving. First is when you finish your dive, don't leave it on the sun. Even in the countries where you don't have very hot summers, the sun really doesn't work well with the neoprene. So neoprene is in some part, it's a rubber. So the sun really can dry out this rubber, especially if you are drying your neoprene inside out. So here, for people who come here, and when I see them storing the suits outside on the hanger, we always put it in the shade. Many people actually store it the inside out. Not store it, but leave it for next session. And even dry air or warm air, over time, very short time, can dry out this neoprene. You will start seeing your neoprene deteriorating, and you will see small little cracks. In some cases, you can even have the glue, which is the stitching on the inside, melting, and the suit just can come apart. This should not happen with the good quality suits, but I've seen that happening with some off-the-shelf suits, so be aware of that. In any case, you should not leave your suit inside out. If you have a lining inside, it's somewhat protected from the sun. And this is why for most open cell lined suits, you should dry the suit with the lining outside. This means open cell inside. Anyway, when you go diving next, for the next session, you will be lubing this suit, so the inside will become wet. There's no reason to be drying it. So what you want to dry is the outside, or have the protective lining on the outside when it's out drying. But yeah, don't leave it on the sun. That's the most important thing. Next thing for the wetsuit is, and we were just talking about the short-term storage. So let's say from one day to another, or from one session to another. Now we will talk a little bit about the long-term storage. So this is what we're going to do essentially now. What you might want to do is you might want to give yourself a little bit of thought about how you're going to hang your wetsuit, because you want to hang your jacket in the way where when it's hung for a long time, you don't have a lot of pressure points here on the hangers. Because the wetsuit is actually quite heavy, but with the weight of the wetsuit, you will have this soft neoprene stretching in these areas here. So what you want to give your wetsuit is enough support on the shoulders. You want to get yourself maybe something like this. This we got in IKEA. Linda, she had a good idea of buying this, just applying this to a regular hanger, and you increase the surface area on the shoulders and minimizing the stretch. You don't have to, if you don't have IKEA or anything like this, you can always go and buy the proper diving hangers. They can be quite expensive, but it is quite easy to make one yourself. You can Also, if you can buy a swimming noodle, you can just gently cut in the middle and cut the pieces for your hangers. So you measure those swimming noodle, cut the little pieces, just a little cut into the noodle and slide it on the hanger itself, one side and the other, and then just tape it around, and that's going to give you plenty of support area for your jacket. That's one idea. Another one is basically stacking up several hangers. Here we have two. In most of our hangers we have three. I can tell you from the experience, you would have to have more than 3, 4, 5, 6, more the better. But this is really, I think the noodle is a really good idea, and this is also really well done because it is soft. It is rounded and there is no sharp part. So this is not going to be cutting into your soft inside open cell. This is one thing how you store your wetsuit. What you ideally want is you want to have a circulation of air moving inside your neoprene suit. This is why just storing it folded on laying flat is maybe not the best idea. Hanging is probably the best, because you can make, by the bigger hangers, you can make the space inside the wetsuit where the air can move around. Because what can happen is, if you have the wetsuit hanging or even stored, especially stored laying flat, the inside of the wetsuit open cell can stick together. Yeah. Now there is a trick for it. To prevent that happening, we can use a talcum powder. And when you get a new suit, most of them will come with talcum powder inside, especially for places like PoloSub, who is our main dealer of wetsuit. All the suits we come, they're full of powder, yeah, on the inside, on the outside, making sure that they don't stick. Talcum powder is really good. It has antibacterial, antifungal properties. So, and it also absorbs the moisture. So, when you dry your suit, before storing it, you want to make sure you dry it from the outside and the inside. The inside dries very quickly, so you don't need to leave it on the sun. Just leave it in your bedroom or somewhere in the apartment when it's dry. Don't put it somewhere where it's warm. You know, like if you have a place where you have a heating, don't put it there. This will not do good to your suit. Leave it somewhere where you have room temperature and it's relatively dry. Turn it inside and outside until it's fully dry inside. Then what you're going to do is, let me take my jacket here. Once the suit is fully dry inside and outside, you take your talcum powder and just put a lot of talcum powder inside the suit. You want the talcum powder to go on the main body of the jacket, in here, into your arms, everywhere, and just move it around. Like, what would you do when you are dressing up for dive? You want the talcum powder to go everywhere. The more, the better. You don't have to go crazy, but making sure that talcum powder goes everywhere. Now, once the talcum powder is everywhere, the suit is ready to be stored. There's few things you can do. If you cannot hang it, what you can do, you can use a small or rather big old towel and just stuff it inside. Just stuff it inside like this to make sure that there is a space between the layers. If you have to store it this way, the towel is a good idea. You can leave it like this. Don't put a lot of things on top of it, obviously. You want the suit just to be resting like this. But again, it's gonna take a lot of space. You can do the same with the hanger. You can just put the hanger over here or here to increase the width and give more space for your suit. This will really help you to have the suit in the same condition when you go diving next as you left it. And it will really protect the neoprene and the integrity of the wetsuit. Now, I've seen things for people who don't really care too much about the equipment. I've seen the whole inside of the suit totally moldy. Yeah, you don't want to wear a suit like that for 1 or 2 hours in the session. No way. It's really difficult to get rid of the mold once it's in there, because your neoprene is very porous, so the mold will go inside the neoprene. Even if you take it out of the surface, it will be still inside the neoprene. But the worst thing that happens is that the mold is going to eat your neoprene. Basically, it's going to, from 5 mil, it's going to really compress to 2 mil, and you're going to lose the flexibility, warmth, everything about what you want from your wetsuit. And that wetsuit is pretty much useless at that point. So you really want to take care of your wetsuit in that matter. Also, if you have a few little cracks and holes, it's good to repair them now. Once the wetsuit is fully dry, you can check it. If you have small little holes, carefully, you have plenty of time now, carefully repair them with the good black witch. Black witch, in my opinion, is one of the best neoprene glues, and you can just use black witch to repair small little holes before they get bigger. So then your suit is ready to go when you need it next time. I have a few little small holes here from doing caves and wreck and things like this, so I'm going to take care of them in the next day or two. So guys, about the fins, if you have a plastic fins, carbon fins, make sure they are dry, especially carbon fins. They can get moldy. Any fins, they can actually get moldy. I've seen plastic fins super moldy. Make sure they're dry. Make sure they are left in an area where they can dry naturally. And once they are, put them in a cover. You can wrap the towels around them and put them laying flat so they don't deform. With the fins, a lot of people, when they finish diving, they leave the fins standing upright, leaning against the wall and on the sun. For plastic fins or any other fins, this is very bad again, because during the heat from the sun, they're going to soften up and they normally end up banana shape. Many times they go back to original shape, but who wants to dive with banana fins? Nobody. Well, I think this is everything from me about the equipment. I hope I didn't forget anything, and if you have any questions about how to take care of equipment, if you have any your own experience or experience you've seen around, please make sure you write them in the comments. Make sure you like the video, then it tells us whether these videos are useful or not, whether we should continue doing these videos. And share and subscribe. Next videos will be more on technical things on freediving. We will be looking at the frontal equalization, so I'm really looking forward to making those videos. I think we will make a sequence of several videos for equalization. It's a big topic, especially frontal and mouth fill. But you know, we have plenty of time, so there'll be a lot more videos coming up soon. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in person soon. Take care of yourself.